Hey guys, welcome back to episode 6 of our Perspective podcast. We're so excited that you guys are back and listening. We hope you had a great week and that you're ready for our last pillar of how to make your family amazing. But there's 4. This is our last one. It is mentorship. Who are you surrounding your kids with? Who are you surrounding your family with and inviting into their lives? And we're going to jump right in and learn a little bit about mentorship. So let's go.
Hey, welcome to episode 6 of our Perspective podcast.
Wait, is this episode 6 or 7? I'm just kidding.
It's 6.
Okay.
That's funny, Mary Grace. So welcome back. This is our perspective. As you can see, it's definitely a different perspective. And I love it. We are so glad you're back. We have been in a short 4 episodes of us talking about just these principles that I kind of accidentally stumbled upon and started doing in our home on a regular basis, consistently, and repeatedly, and it just produced really sweet fruit.
Yeah.
And I realized that it was really important in the development of my kids, so they could be bold followers of Jesus Christ. So we talked about having a really great mission statement. So that was our first one. And we shared our mission statement. It was to leave people better than we found them. And then we went into prayer, which was so important. And we had so much to talk about that was a 2-part one, which I loved. And then we dove a little bit into just studying the word, reading the word together, and being a family that reads the word together and just like covers ourselves in the word, which is so, so important.
Yes.
And then today, I'm excited about talking and diving into this one.
Me too.
This is mentorship, discipleship. This is making sure your kids have someone other than you in their lives, pouring into them, and
speaking life into them.
And just speaking good and just speaking life into them. This one was really important. I don't probably stumbled across this one too. Maybe not so much, actually. I think I was a little bit more intentional on this one only because I felt more for Thomas than for you guys.
Yeah.
But then I saw how important and how beneficial it was for Thomas that I made sure that you girls had different people too that poured into you.
Yeah.
But I think Thomas being a boy, I knew that there was just some things that I couldn't teach him.
Sure.
And there's just like some things that it wasn't me that he wasn't going to learn from. Yeah. He was going to learn from another man. And so I remember it being really, really important for me to put some really incredible men around him.
Yeah.
And so I didn't, it was discipleship, it was mentorship, it was people that he could talk to. And so, at a really young age, I think for Thomas, I'll never forget, he was young. I don't know how old he was, but the first person that I really remember really pouring into him was one of our pastors at our church, going and taking him to play golf at a really young age.
Yeah.
And then asking if he could take him. And I was like, absolutely. And another pastor that really, really poured into Thomas, and he was in first grade. Like, I will never forget this. Like, he saw something in Thomas that I didn't see. And I remember us just really going through, obviously, awful time, but it was right around, just, like, your summer, Bible,
VBS?
Yes, thank you. My gosh. VBS, which was Summer Explosion.
Yeah.
At our church. It was called Summer Explosion. And I just remember obviously me being part of the church, they kind of knew a little bit what was going on. And Thomas was there. He was in first grade. And one of our pastors, I remember he asked me where Thomas was. And I was like, well, he's inside in the first grade section. And then someone came out and they're like, Thomas is on stage. And I was like, what do you mean Thomas is on stage? And I walked into the sanctuary because I was doing something outside. And I walked in the sanctuary and he has Thomas on stage and introducing Thomas and saying, hey, we really want you to pray over this whole like 1st through 5th grade summer explosion. And we want you to just pray over this whole event.
Yeah.
And I remember actually I was kind of angry because I was like, how, like, what, you're asking this 1st grader, like he could like totally like break down on stage and not know how to do this and then just be like, I don't know. But it took another man to look at my sweet boy and say,
and call
you
it
can
out
do
of
this.
him.
Yeah. And that wasn't my job. Like, I feel like it's so important as a father to call out these things in your sons and in your daughters.
Yeah.
And I wasn't created to do that with Thomas. And I love how he just incorporated these people into Thomas's life. And I remember sitting there and Thomas started praying. And it literally just came from the Holy Spirit.
Yeah. And
it was incredible. And like every year thereafter, Thomas was on stage opening up Summer Explosion and praying over all of these students. It was incredible. That same pastor, like 2 years, I don't even think it was 2 years later. Thomas was probably like maybe 7 or 8, and invited Thomas to the men's group.
Wow.
Do you remember this?
I don't.
You were there. I had you and me. I can vividly see this picture of you and you and Carmen wearing the same. I know I always call you Mary Carmen. Wearing the same outfit. You guys were wearing the same exact outfit.
We always wear the same outfit.
I did love that. And I brought you guys, and Thomas had this little blue collared shirt on with his like initials. I had it embroidered, his initials embroidered here.
We always did.
I know, you guys always had the cute little clothes.
We were that preppy family.
Yeah. And his little khaki shorts. He was invited to go to the men's group and speak to the men. Yeah. And,
wow.
And Pastor Mike was on stage with him. Mike Moore was on stage with him. Speak to the men about how just like kind of the consequences of growing up without a dad in the home. It was so powerful.
Yeah, that sounds.
And again,
really
like asking, it's a huge risk to ask someone who's 7 or 8. I mean, he was 7 or 8 to get on stage and share his story and his testimony.
Yeah,
it was incredible. And that's when I started realizing, like, okay, I need to put more men in Thomas's life, or men like this. And I remember Mike would take him fishing. Other pastors would take him play golf. And then Mike Ash showed up, at church. And then they became like best buds.
Yeah, it was sweet.
Yeah. And he had 2 sons. So like kind of like everywhere he would take his sons,
he would take Thomas. Yeah.
And that was so.
Charlie wants to be part of it.
He definitely like stood up and like, hey, what's up, guys?
He's like, I'm the man of the house now. You are.
You are. And it was so important for him, to have those mentors. And then remember, like when you guys turned 15, the year you guys turned 15, I had all of the people, like mentors in your lives. And for Thomas, it was a surprise. For Carmen, it was a surprise too. Remember, we finally surprised her for her 15th
that was the best.
Birthday.
You could never pull a surprise on Carmen, but we did.
Yeah, I surprised Thomas with all the men that had really poured into him for a dinner, and they all showed up. We said we're all going to dinner, and then we showed up. They were all there. We all left.
At the steakhouse.
Yeah, it was the one.
What a manly thing.
It was the steakhouse where they get all the meat.
And they like cut it in front of you?
Yeah. Yeah, that was such a manly thing to do. And so there was that, and it was just such a like meaningful thing for him. And they all like spoke over him.
Yeah.
And then we did it for Carmen. We surprised her for her 15th birthday.
Yeah.
And had all of the women that loved her and mentored her and discipled her up till 15 pray over her. We just got in a huge circle.
It was amazing.
Oh, that was so beautiful. And then for yours, you did a quince. You wanted it a quince. So it was a really sweet, big party. And then all the women came up and just prayed over you.
It was awesome.
Those are some, like, really, like, having, like, those people in your lives. So I feel like you can speak more to this. I mean, I put those people in your life.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't put them. Like, God put them in your life.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, with Thomas, there were so many times I did not go seeking out.
Yeah.
And God just brought those men in and out of seasons of Thomas's life that were absolutely incredible. I remember his freshman year of college, Thomas was really struggling. and I didn't know what to do. And I just remember going to one of our pastors that really loved him and mentored him. And he started calling Thomas once a week.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what discipleship is. That's what mentorship is. But I think you can speak more to this. And I would love to hear Carmen later on and Thomas's perspective in this. But this was one of the things I definitely put around you guys, because I knew there would become a time where my voice would have like just fallen short, or like you just are like tired of listening to me.
Yeah.
But when someone else said it, it was
clicked.
meaningful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can share more about this probably than I can.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, like, I said this in the first, did I say this in the first episode? That I'm someone that kind of needs to, like, learn from messing up.
Yeah, that's true. You did.
Yeah, so that's definitely more, like, me. Like, I'm a lot like that. But, like, listening to you a lot of times felt like instead of trying to help me, you were trying to just, like, tell me what to do. And typically, like, when someone's telling me what to do, I give a lot of pushback because I like to do my own thing. And I like to know what I want to do. And I want to do what I want to do. So, like, definitely coming from you a lot of times, I would push back a lot. And, like, I just remember, like, going into I've obviously had so many amazing mentors, but truly, like, my first mentor that I actually, like, wanted to be mentored by, like, I asked her, like, officially to be my mentor. And I remember that's, like, so, just, like, so specifically. But going into sophomore year, you asked her to go out to coffee with me. And I was like, I don't really want to do that. Like, I don't need a mentor. Like, I just kind of was like, I already have, like, you. Like, I don't really need anyone else. And, like, so I went out to coffee with her, and it was, like, fine. And we talked about this, like, a boy the whole time because I just started dating him. And we talked about him the whole time. And then I didn't really tell her anything else about me. And that was kind of it. And then basically we went out again, like, a month later. And I kind of was like, okay, like, I could see this maybe going somewhere. Like, this is interesting. And so we kept meeting up, and I was super hesitant. Like, I really didn't share a lot about me with her at first. And I was just kind of like, I don't really know you that well. Like, you don't really have any influence in my life yet. And so I was super hesitant. And then it kind of just clicked, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, you love me, and, like, you want me to be better at being a human. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And, like, being a Christian. And, like, and she really pushed me to be better. And so I remember, like, in February of that sophomore year, I asked her, like, to be my mentor officially. And she said yes, of course. But it was so funny, like, just, like, inviting someone into my life that, like, obviously, like, the Lord and, like, you had set up. But it was, like, my choice. Like, I wanted her to be a part. And so that really was, like, kind of the first time where I realized, like, having a mentor is so, so important. And, like, someone that, like, I can go to before, like, I go to you, or, like, before I, like, want to, like, crash out, or, like, like, overreact or something like that, and, like, just kind of talk out things with, and just, like, explain, like, the way I'm feeling, and just be honest. And then, like, she can listen, and I can process, and she can give me advice on how to, like, go about something, and then I can bring it to you and be like, is this what you would do as well? And, like, it's just someone that truly, like, wants you to be better.
Yeah.
And, like, pushes you to be better. And then kind of my other mentors, and we focus a lot on this one because this is something that's so important to me, especially as, like, a father figure, and, like, someone that truly does love me as, like, a dad would love me. And so I only have, like, 2 really father figures in my life that, like, I would call a father figure, and, like, they are so, so important to me, and they've just, like, done wonders in, like, loving me and just really being, like, that dad aspect of my life that I was always kind of missing. And so just, like, finding, like, those people that really just, like, love you unconditionally, like a family member would, and, like, want you to be better, and that are gonna push you and, like challenge you in such healthy ways. And yeah, I think, like, really having a mentor is great.
Yeah. This is something that I've seen more of that fruit with you.
Yeah,
Maybe because you've just been here longer.
definitely.
You know, obviously I saw it with Thomas and Carmen too. But, like, for you, I think, and for you, you're just different. You do have that personality where you like to learn on your own. You like to learn the hard way. That's not fun for a mom. Because I just, like, I could see the train coming, And you're like, nope, I'm staying on the track. I'm like, do you turn around? And you're like, nope. I'm like, are you listening? Nope, I'm doing this, and then, and sometimes there's a train wreck. Sometimes you get off on this, before.
Yeah.
So it's hard. So I think and all of you guys have different personalities. Yeah. So with you, that was the hardest of why I'm like, I need help. Like I need someone else to come along.
And I think it was hard because for me, I naturally just I have very high expectations. So like automatically, like, first of all, you being like my mom, being a single parent, so someone that I'm constantly leaning on, like there's no balance of like leaning on a dad and you. Like
that's good.
There's so much expectation on you from me and so much pressure. Like having a mentor and someone I can kind of shift some of those expectations off of you and onto them in a super balanced and healthy way. Like obviously that's something I had to learn and kind of like grow into, but
that's good.
Like yeah, I just think that was something that we struggled with a lot was like I had so many expectations that you weren't meeting, and like that was not your fault at all, because obviously I wasn't communicating those, but like that was just something that like I really struggled with. And then really finding like a healthy mentor that like knew me enough to like want to meet my expectations.
Yeah. Well, and you communicated those expectations.
Yeah.
But no, I love what you said. Like I do think there's a lot of, there's no balancing here in the home. Like, oh, like someone else is talking to you, your dad's talking to you, or that type of stuff. There wasn't that. So there was a lot of expectations and pressure. I didn't feel that as much, but I knew that I needed another voice in your life.
Sure.
Like I knew for you specifically, I needed another voice.
Yeah. I was going to hear it clear coming from someone else.
Absolutely.
Than from you.
Like I know, like, I saw you getting frustrated with the questions I was asking.
Yeah.
It's just normal teenage stuff.
Yeah.
But I did not want to brush it off as normal teenage stuff. Like, I think it starts with like them not, you not really wanting to share stuff, but that we can become quickly into like you leaning more on your friends for advice. And that also scared me. I'm like, I don't want that, because they're not going to give you godly wisdom. They're your peers, so their advice isn't going to be as mature as someone else. So I think that was my like leaning in.
But I think you found I was getting frustrated with that as well, because I'm so much more mature than the people my age.
You were definitely more mature, and you were getting really frustrated with all of it.
Yeah.
So I knew that I had to bring somebody into the conversation.
Yeah.
And, I remember meeting her, and I'm like, I just really think that you guys would click. And you did.
Yeah.
And, and I remember you like, I don't think I'm going to like her. Like, why are you doing this? I hate when you do this, But as like, I'm telling you, parents, like sometimes you just got to do it. Like, I don't care if they like it. I don't care if they don't want to do it. Just, you're doing it. Like, I remember looking at you, I'm like, you're going to coffee, and do not just sit there and talk about nothing.
Yeah.
And it, it wasn't like a click right away, but you're going to go back. You're going to do it again. Like, go do it again. And you did. And then slowly but surely, like you shared, you began trusting her. And again,
building
it takes
that relationship.
time to build a relationship.
Yeah.
You weren't just going to trust her right away.
Of course.
So then it took, her meeting with you more regularly, you trusting her, you're sharing more and more information. I remember you coming to me several times, like, is she telling you what I'm telling you? I'm like,
oh,
no,
yeah, that was a big thing.
I remember.
Like, I hated that feeling. Like, because they were good friends. Like, my mom is her mentor, kind of. And so, like, and so it was just, like, such a, like, weird dynamic, because I was like, oh, my gosh, like, I'm just going to go to her and tell her all this stuff about me, and then she's going to go and tell my mom, and I don't want my mom to know, like, and it was just so hard to trust at first. But then, like, obviously, as you build that relationship, you see, like, no, like, that's just a lie that
I remember saying to you, like, we're not talking about you.
Yeah.
Like, when we're talking about her and growing and different things about work.
Not everything's about me.
No. That was hard for you.
It was. That is hard for me.
But I think slowly but surely you started realizing that actually we weren't talking about you.
Yeah.
And that you could trust her, And again, parents, like, find someone that you can trust. Like, I wholeheartedly trusted this individual, that I knew that if Mary Grace was going to her with certain things, that she was going to say very similar things that I would say.
Yes.
Like same values. She was pointing her every single time back to the word if there was something going on. But she was younger. She's cooler. She's, she's more in than I was. So for her, like advice as she's sharing, like, she would let Mary Grace, where sometimes I could be like, no, Mary, we're not doing that. Where she would let Mary Grace dream a little longer, and, and she would laugh at her ideas or encourage sometimes ideas that were good to be encouraged. Like, it's so good. And so I absolutely loved, I love that you guys clicked. I love that's how it all worked out. And then she started, like, it went from like mentorship, where I want to distinguish, like, she started discipling you. You started like, you guys started reading the word together, or reading a book together, or going through like spiritual disciplines, or talking about different things. Like, it wasn't just about like friends or boys or just, the normal, like, nothing conversations. She actually started challenging you.
It was deep.
Yeah. She would get frustrated with you if you weren't doing what she was asking you to do.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and so really good things that came.
Yeah.
And that is still coming. Like, that is still.
She's still my mentor.
Yes. And then this also has helped you. Like, I think when you go off to college, I hope, she will still continue mentoring you even when you're far away, but you also, it will look different, but also looking for and finding someone a little older, a little wiser,
definitely,
someone that's been ahead of you in the game to, go and, like, Carmen now, like, again, had all of these same things. It looked different for Carmen. I don't know. She was not always open. I don't know.
She wasn't just like a one person.
Open,
yeah.
But Carmen was just like, I don't know. She
just kind of drifted through high school.
Yeah. I mean, but now she found some older girls, and they call it their D group, which is their discipleship group.
Yeah.
And she learns and gets poured into by some older girls in her sorority.
And pours into her younger girls,
and then she pours into younger girls.
Yeah.
And that is so beautiful.
And that is true mentorship.
Of course, that's true mentorship.
You should be mentored by someone, and you should be mentoring someone always.
That was one of the challenges that your mentor told you. Like, who are you discipling?
Yeah.
Like, who are you mentoring? Like, go find somebody.
Yeah.
Which was so good. So finding those people, like, as parents, like, you should not be afraid. Like, I mean, I remember Thomas had a youth pastor, and I remember I was telling him something, and I remember him coming to me and just saying, Mr. Will said blah, 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 and I'm like, I've said that. Like, I said that, not him. But he heard it more clear. The way he said it was it was like football terms. They were talking about something, and it was just, and it clicked for him. I didn't talk to him that way. So find those people that you can trust, like organically, or like for other people, it happened organically. For Thomas, it happened a little bit more organically for Carmen, but I was very intentional with Mary Grace. Like, I'm like, I looked for someone that I knew would click with her and asked her, hey, do you mind having coffee with my daughter? There's nothing wrong with that.
But also, again, like, that's knowing your kid, because like I'm super, not weird, but just very specific with people that I trust and like that I want to tell things to. And like, obviously I love everyone, of course, and I love people, and I love hanging out with people and talking to people, but there's only specific people that I will actually like really be vulnerable and honest with.
I think that's a good thing. I don't think we shouldn't be being vulnerable and honest with absolutely every single person. Like, we don't need to share everything.
Yes.
That's what those people are for.
Yeah.
Like, to actually like process, because sometimes you have really big feelings.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you're not saying all those feelings to everybody. You know what I'm saying? That you have someone you can process this with and really figure out what you're feeling, to actually communicate that to whatever that situation was. So I think it's great. But yeah, so the takeaway today is really like, if your kids are old enough, or, or even if they're just young, like, who are you surrounding your kids around that are pouring into your kids too? Like, who's in your circle that is sharing or could pour in or could call out, something in your kids that maybe you can, but maybe they just won't hear it from you. But who's in your circle that can do that? Who's in your circle that will take a son fishing? Who's in your circle that would go have coffee if you have a teenage daughter?
Yeah.
Who's in your circle that you can ask or organically orchestrate those things, or maybe it's a senior in high school and you have a freshman, but maybe they'll click, and if your daughter is talking about, like, you were on the cheer squad and you would talk, you had some seniors when you were
older girls,
some older girls that I remember you struggling with some certain things at school, and you would call them and have coffee with them.
Yeah.
And again,
and now they're in college and I still call them.
Yeah, that's so true. And again, like, very like-minded girls that are giving your kids
sound advice.
Yeah. And biblical, like pointing to the word, like pointing back to the word, like, what does the word say about this? Or it lines up with the word. So the challenge is, like, think about it. Even if your kids are little, as you start establishing relationships in your circle, establishing those relationships where, gosh, these people could pour into my kids too, or finding those people. I remember there's people that have come to us and say, hey, they have a little one or a middle schooler, can Mary Grace go have coffee with my daughter? And I'm like, yeah,
lunch,
or lunch. I mean, coffee. We just did that recently. We just went and had breakfast.
Yeah.
And so I think that's something, like, super, I don't know. It's so beautiful.
Yeah. It's so intentional.
Yep. So that is the last of the principle that I know. We did it.
Let's go through them.
Yeah, we're going to go through them.
Okay.
Don't forget. What was the first one?
I don't remember. That was so embarrassing. I can say the last three.
I love you. I love you so much. It was our mission statement.
Mission statement. I knew it.
You did it.
That was my next guess. All right. Mission statement, prayer, mentorship, and reading your word.
Those are the four things. Like, when I looked back, when I was thinking of this podcast, I'm like, what do I want to share with these parents so we can live out this mission for this podcast, right? We want you to create a safe environment so your kids can come to you, share things with you, talk with you, learn from you, so you can grow bold followers of Jesus Christ. We want you to have the space where you can just know your kids and love your kids and just, like, genuinely know them. Yeah. And these are some of the things that I did in our home that produced some really, really sweet fruit. So I really, really hope that you guys have worked on a mission statement. Like I said, like, post it in some of our in some of the comments. Like, I want to know what your mission statements are. They're so important. Prayer. What are you praying for your kids? Like, maybe we didn't talk about everything. So if there's something specifically that you're praying, share so other parents can learn.
Definitely.
And grow. Like, this is the community we want. We want a community that is empowering other parents, right? To grow bold followers of Jesus Christ.
It takes a village.
It does take a village.
Even with two parents, it takes a village.
Of course it does.
Yeah.
And so, like, share what you're praying for your kids. And then, like, how are you reading the Bible? What cool things are you doing to making it exciting?
How are you bringing God's word to life in your house?
In your home. Like, how are you doing that? We shared a couple things of what we did that worked for us. I'm challenging you to do that. Don't take that for granted. Don't think you can't read the word in front of them. Don't say, hey, you play over there. I know you're 2 and you're 3. Go play over there. Mommy's going to spend some time reading the Bible. Dad's going to spend some time reading the Bible while you play. That's so important for them to watch you do that.
It is.
And then mentorship. One of the coolest things I read, it was our favorite theologian. I don't know if she's a theologian, but Christy McClellan, which we absolutely love her. Right? Love. And she talks so much about discipleship. She talks so much about just, Christ, Jesus. I mean, she talks so much about this, but she once said, which I was like, oh, I love it. It's called the rabbi's dust. And it says, it refers to the concept of a disciple following their teacher so closely that they're covered in the dust kicked up by the rabbi's sandals. That's how close you should be following someone that's discipling you, that everything they're doing and learning gets pushed and dust on you so you can learn those things. And that's where it's so important as parents that we surround our kids around other people that are sharing and speaking life into them and growing them. So, so important. Thank you guys so much. We so appreciate you. And so I hope today we left you a little bit better than we found you.
Love you.